Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Tina from Tina Heals, and this video is about Chiron in Gemini. I created all the Chiron videos, numerous videos actually, and I did one where I discussed Chiron through all the signs, but I missed out Gemini, so I'm really sorry about that. Let's get straight to the topic at hand. So Chiron, if you read Carl Jung, you are familiar with the wounded healer archetype, okay? The wounded healer is someone who could not heal himself, and he spent his life in trying to discover healing paths and healing modalities to help others. Now, when we are about 51, we experience a Chiron return. So Chiron comes to the same spot where it was when we were born, and this is really a time of great awakening, because by then we are supposed to have integrated our wounds and dealt with it. If not, then it's sort of like the Tower moment, or like say the Ten of Swords moment, when you feel like you don't know what to do or where to go or who to turn to. But Chiron is the medicine. If you look at the glyph of Chiron, it is a key. Now, it is a key to open doors of perception. Okay, these metaphorical doors lead us to states of awareness we did not know existed. So Chiron, in a sense, is a higher self figuring out healing paths, not just for ourselves to heal, but to help others. Now, I have a very strong Chiron in the 9th Taurus. This is a very good placement, and this really helps you internalize and integrate your wounds and then make it medicine for people, okay? Now, Chiron was a healer. He was an astrologer, and he was unlike any centaurs actually, because centaurs were a bunch of really wild and wicked species, okay? But Chiron was never like them. He was always in an elevated state of mind, thinking of higher things, spirituality, oneness, and Chiron is basically all about dualism, because he's half man and half horse. So, he's the man symbolizes the higher self, and the horse symbolizes the lower self. So this is classic of how we interpret duality being played out into the world, okay? And interesting, Richard Bach has this quote: "You teach best what you most need to learn." So Chiron embarked on this lifelong journey of healing, but at the very end he could not heal himself. But that doesn't mean he didn't help others. He trained the gods like Apollo. So he did his part, and he even actually becomes immortal because of his sacrifice to Prometheus. So Chiron is actually symbolic of the Antakarana, or the bridge between this world and the world of spirit. And if you notice, Chiron is between Saturn and Uranus, bringing to us messages from a world we do not know of, okay? And Chiron in our chart exposes our fears and our wounding and our deepest vulnerability. But as I've told you before, it is the path to healing. Healing is all about wholeness, return to source, right? Now, Chiron, of course, by what I said, connects us to higher planes of consciousness. So when you start working with Chiron transits, you see how awareness shifts, how perception shifts, right? Mercury is retrograde, of course, in my 12th house, on my sun and Mercury and all that. So, but you are not your wounds. You are so much more, says Chiron. And Chiron in Gemini is actually the wound of communication, because Gemini is ultimately about communication. It's about wounding that occurs to us from our local community or our siblings Okay, it could also be Chiron and Gemini could also be the lack of being able to assimilate knowledge and pour it forth. Okay, because Gemini is essentially all about knowledge, ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the building. Mercury deals with the building of the Antakarana. So we see how Chiron and Mercury, the psychopomp, have similar functionalities in our soul growth. So Chiron and Gemini, I would say, is a good position. Okay, it's not a good position, but Chiron also symbolizes where we can have physical wounding. Okay, so Gemini rules our arms and our lungs and our neck and all of that. So those places could be vulnerable if you have Chiron and Gemini. And you can actually tell by Chiron's position what you will do professionally. So for instance, if you have, and it deals with houses. So say if you have a 9th house Gemini Chiron, then this will take you to philosophy, to mysticism. 8th, you will be exploring death and rebirth and all things occult, right? So basically Chiron is about us not just integrating our wounds, but wearing those wounds like a badge of honor. So once you understand that this immutable sign of Gemini is about communicating and experiencing new things, then you understand that this is what your wounding will occur from. Different experiences, maybe not being accepted in communities where you go, maybe being looked at as shallow. But believe me, the lessons of Chiron get clearer as you mature with age. And by the time you're 51 and Chiron returns to your natal position, you are indeed a new person. So, Chiron now is in Aries, of course, you know, and Chiron is retrograde as we speak. And all I can say is do not escape from the wounds of Chiron. Instead, integrate them, work with them, do the shadow work that Chiron is asking you to do. And sometimes you must remember that it's not about healing yourself. That's what Chiron wants you to remember. It's very self-sacrificial in a way, if you notice. Chiron basically gave up his own existence to help Prometheus. And he agreed to live in great agony so that Prometheus did not need to be punished. But Zeus saw this, and then he sort of put Chiron in the constellation Chiron, Sagittarius, and that's where we have the story. So Chiron has a great link to your polarity, Gemini, Sagittarius. You know, Sag also had the centaur as their leaf. It later on changed and got adapted to the arrow with a piece of bow. So there is a very deep connection between Chiron and Gemini, Sagittarius. Okay, and this is an energy that will only get better when you work through it. Chiron and Gemini is asking you to write. Chiron and Gemini is asking you to get on WordPress, get on steemit.com, write that blog and figure out your demons and express them. Okay, make those videos, right? Teach that class in Udemy or wherever you want to. Or Patreon, don't give up. Once you've understood that you can indeed take your broken heart, make it into art, and put it out there for people, the lessons of Chiron open up to you. And the key that Chiron is symbolic of turns, taking you to another level of awareness. So that was a bit about Chiron and Gemini. I'm sorry I missed you. Guys, I apologize. But I hope this sets it straight. And subscribe if you like this video, comment, like and share. Visit my website, check out the readings I offer as well as the merch. Thank you so much. Take care.